Join us for lively discussion about the A-State community. Each week, we'll meet with a variety of faculty, staff, and students to discuss all things Arkansas State University. Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections. Good afternoon and welcome to A-State Connections here on ASU-TV. I'm Johnathan Reaves and I'm the news director for KASU Public Radio on the campus of Arkansas State University. I'm the host of the radio version of A-State Connections, which is heard Saturday mornings at 11 on 91.9 FM KASU, or you can stream it at kasu.org. The radio show has been on the air since August of 2019. And the show focuses on things that are going on at Arkansas State University as well as across the ASU system. There are many ways that A-State's students, faculty, and staff are making connections with the communities in which Arkansas State serves. And this show is designed to feature those connections. So I want to welcome you to this first show. Today's guest on the A-State Connections TV show is the director of the Multicultural Center at Arkansas State, Adrian Everett. And Adrian, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Jonathan. I'm excited to be on the show today.
I'll tell you, we're excited to have you here,
yes.
for the first show. So thanks for doing that. I want to know about you. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Sure. So I am a native of McGee, Arkansas. I came to the Jonesboro area for college back in 2007, quite a few years ago. And I went through my undergraduate experience here. I have a bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary studies, and then I continued after finishing up my bachelor's degree and got a master's degree in college student personnel services here at A-State. And I started working here pretty much right away in my last 6 months of my graduate degree. I worked as a admin assistant for the Leadership Center. So I helped with booking rooms and helping out in the student union. Mm-hmm. And then I worked as a recruitment advisor and traveled throughout the whole state of Arkansas for about 2 years, as well as traveling throughout Tennessee and recruiting students to the university as a recruiter. From there, I moved into the academic advising world, and I worked as an academic advisor for a couple of years. And then I was looking to move into leadership. And so I was promoted to the associate director role in the Wilson Advising Center. And I started working with transfer students which was a great experience. I was recruiting, however, I was helping with them getting advice here on campus and getting them connected with the academic side here at the university. So in 2019, our transfer student population continued to grow, and we, the leadership then decided to create a transfer student services unit. Mm-hmm. And so I was selected to lead that unit as the director of that area from 2019 up until 21 days ago. And so 21 days ago is when I started as the director of the Multicultural Center. And so that's pretty much my background. I've been on the student affairs side of things. I've also been on the academic affairs side of things and back to the student affairs with my current role.
And what about those roles prepared you for this position?
Sure. So I had an opportunity to see the whole student from the recruiting side when they were in high school and not sure of what they wanted to do after high school, to also working with transfer students, and they were at the two-year schools, and they weren't sure what they wanted to do when they left the two-year school, to actually seeing them get to the university here on campus, and then connecting with students in different ways and helping them, navigate throughout their college career, throughout the transfer student services side of things, and then, seeing students graduate. And so I've seen the full student from the recruiting all the way to graduation. I've also dealt with issues for our students, from financial aid to scholarships, to not having enough money to cover their scholarships, to losing their scholarships, to personal issues, looking at, want to go back home because they were homesick, or feeling isolated here at the university because they can't just find the certain student group to get involved with. So I've seen a lot of different sides of students, to students doing well in the classroom experience on their tests to also struggling and not passing a test. And then reaching out to me to see like, how can I, pass this class, or, reach out to the professor to get extra assignments so that they can pass the class. So also I've helped students, be right there at the end and need help with graduating. So I've worked through so many different scenarios for the whole student. To in this role, working with our Multicultural Center, I will definitely utilize all the resources. I've worked with faculty, staff, administrators across the campus. Pretty much every aspect of this campus I've worked with at some point in my career here.
So for people who may not know, please explain about the Multicultural Center and what you all do on the A-State campus.
Yeah, so the Multicultural Center is an avenue for our populations that are underserved and underrepresented to have advocates for them. We provide diversity training across the campus for any students, for any faculty, or any staff members, so that our faculty members are well versed in multicultural issues and being diverse as individuals. Because we're at a predominantly white institution. However, many of our students come from different backgrounds, and so making sure that our faculty, staff members are well versed on why students do certain things because of their backgrounds, because of their upbringings, as well as understanding the technology and the language of multicultural student groups, and some of the activities that they're used to doing. And so we educate the whole campus on different things like that, as well as strongly advocate for our students, because some of our students don't know how to navigate through certain things. We have first-generation college students that come through our office that just landed here at college, and they're not sure of how to go through financial aid process. They're not sure of how to go through having a student conduct appeal process if they make a mistake on something. So our office is there to advocate for all of our students, the good, bad, and ugly.
I don't think that some people realize just the challenges that students face, especially if they're first-generation college students. It's a huge jump. It's a very challenging thing. And how do you help address some of those challenges that students face?
Yeah. So I consistently, in my first 20 days, I have been meeting with different student groups that are housed out of the Multicultural Center, and just let them know that what my role is as the director of the center is to be an advocate for them. We have a very, very small amount of funds that we can help them create events for their student groups throughout the year. And so I have been going to meetings and letting them know that the MC is there for those students. It's also a social gathering spot for the students to come in, hang out. Sometimes they're studying. We have some computers there for students to utilize for their study space, as well as we have, a TV there where they can play music and, just socialize with their friends, play cards, play dominoes, just have a social gathering place where they can be loud. I don't mind them being loud at all in the office, but they just can be themselves and just kind of make that family atmosphere that they've grown up previous to being here at A-State. I know for me, I was from South Arkansas. I came to A-State not knowing anyone.
Right.
And so we didn't have the MC then, but we had the Multicultural Center director that was over the area. And so we had groups like Brother to Brother and Sister to Sister created back then. And those groups were there to be kind of a family atmosphere for our minority student population. And so we would have, game nights, we would have educational nights, we would have different things, different social gatherings throughout the year, but then there were also educational components. And so I knew as a student that, if I got in some academic trouble, I had some administrators that were checking my grades and that were following up with me, letting me know that they were a resource for me. And they held me accountable. Which I definitely appreciate, even 15 years later. And so that's one of the big things for us is while I have fun with the students, I have always been known as like a grill person around campus, and so I've cooked for pretty much all of them at some point in their time here. They also know that I am going to be their accountability person, and so I'm going to constantly check in and say, hey, how are your classes going? Are you going to class? And different things like that. Instead of just hanging out in MC, I want to make sure they're going to class and doing well in their classroom activities. And so I'm, like I said, that person. We're a team of 3 professional staff members in our office. Me as a director, we have an assistant director, and then we have an admin assistant. But we all have close relationships with all of our students that come through the center or that are just a part of the student groups through the MC.
Over the years, you were talking about how small it was, and it has really significantly grown over the years.
Sure.
And when we come on the other side of the break, which we're about to take here in just a few minutes, we'll talk about some of the different groups that are there. But how does it make you feel to know now that it is larger than it was and can help more students now than maybe it was, when you were coming to Arkansas State?
Yeah, so like I said, I love having a specific space. We have 3 offices and then a nice lounge area space out in the front. Then we just had 1 office, and so
Sure.
Having the space for students to get together every day and just socialize, come in and talk about issues, talk about life issues, their long-term plans. They probably will meet we have, girlfriend, boyfriend conversation in there about marriage and different things like that. It's great to see that come full circle. From the time when I was a student and we just had, people we could talk to, but now we have a space where we can come together on a daily basis, and I can just, I sit and listen and learn from them. I also share my life experiences with them. I'm pretty open with things that I've, seen and overcome over the years, and I challenge them to think in different ways as well, but I also learn a lot from them, and so that's what I love is, having that space where they come to the MC, and I know a lot of them by name. I'm still learning some of them by name, but those that come in there every day and consistently are part of the MC family, I know them by name pretty much.
It truly is a community.
It's definitely
over there.
A community, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and a lot of people, I had some people just casually walking by and they're like, man, that's great. It's really, a good crowd in there. They're having a lot of fun. Like, it's like, I don't know how many people have ever been to like a African-American family reunion. Like, we love everybody.
Sure.
We might fight and have our small issues, but at the end of the day, we still love. And so that's kind of the environment that the MC has created is that it's the family in there. They share food. They share drinks. Like, it's just a family affair in there. And I love it, being a part of it and just being able to provide the resources for them to do have the place there.
Fantastic. We're going to take a quick short break. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Adrian Everett about his work in the Multicultural Center. And this is A-State Connections on ASU-TV.
Here to deliver the latest news on A-State sports, ranging from football, basketball, baseball, and more.
I'm your host, Tristan Harlan, alongside your other host, Cooper Melder.
Red Wolf Roundtable is your local sports source.
Tune in to Red Wolf Roundtable to get your fix on sports talk and news.
ASU-TV, shows like Red Wolf Roundtable, ASU-TV News, Westside Football, and more. Gain real-life experience while doing what you love. Get involved with ASU-TV today.
ASU-TV, covering all your favorite sports. From Red Wolf Roundtable to Westside Football and more, ASU-TV has you covered. Tune in now to ASU-TV for news and coverage on these sports and more.
At Arkansas State, we want you to go. Go where learning soars, takes flight, and rockets ahead. Go for experiences, internships, and scholarships. We want you to go. Become A-State Maine. Are you ready to go? Go.astate.edu for details.
And welcome back to A-State Connections here on ASU-TV. I'm Johnathan Reaves, and joining me here is Adrian Everett, who is the director of the Multicultural Center at Arkansas State. We're having a great conversation talking about the different aspects of the Multicultural Center, and I want to really talk about the different student groups now.
Yeah.
It's great to hear that there's been a lot of educational programs already about Hispanic Heritage Month.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. Let's talk about the different student groups that are kind of under the umbrella of the Multicultural Center.
Sure. So we'll start with it being Hispanic Heritage Month. In our Hispanic community, we specifically oversee the OLA group, which is Hispanic Outreach Latino Appreciation Group, which is student-led students that are part of that. However, there's also a Hermana y Hermana student group here on campus. We help with some of their initiatives. They're not specifically under the MC, but they do work closely with the OLA group that is under the Multicultural Center's reach. And then we have the Brother to Brother, which is a minority male initiative here on the campus. And then the female version of that is called Sister to Sister, which are both, like I said, minority initiatives to help students stay here at the university and graduate from the university. Outside of that, we have the Gay Straight Alliance, which is a student group for the LGBTQ plus population. And then we have the non-traditional student organization that's housed inside of our Multicultural Center group as well. Directly inside of the MC, we have the Multicultural Center Ambassadors, which is our specific team of ambassadors that plan events for the student groups on the campus. They advocate, they help work a lot of our different student events that are housed through the Multicultural Center. Mm-hmm. But those are pretty much all of our main student groups out of the MC. We do assist with any of the other minority student groups on campus, like BSA, any of the MPHC groups, Greeks. We help with their events. And then we have like some specific initiatives like Black History Month, Hispanic Heritage Month. Mm-hmm. We host a recruiting event for minority students called A-State Connection, which is pretty funny, connected
right.
with you guys' TV show.
Yeah.
We host that every spring where we bring in minority students, specifically African Americans and Hispanics, that are typically juniors in high school, and introduce them to the college experience here at A-State. And it's basically preparing them in their junior year to apply for college and hopefully come to A-State for their college experience. And so that's been going on for quite a few years now here at the university.
It's important to have those outreach efforts for
yes,
sure.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
We will work closely this year with some of our professional staff members groups on campus. There's a African American Black faculty staff group here on campus, and then there's also a Hispanic faculty staff group here on campus. Those aren't under the Multicultural Center area. However, we will work with those areas to connect our faculty and staff groups with our student groups. And so we're being very intentional with some of the advisors for our student groups are members of either the Black faculty staff group or the Hispanic faculty staff group that's here on campus. And so we'll work very closely with those groups, and we'll support their events that they're having here on campus.
There are times when in the national conversation, and a lot of this comes out of politics, mm-hmm. Of things that are taking place. And unfortunately, there are events like the unfortunate passing of George Floyd or the Pulse nightclub shooting or other things that really cause different conversations and obviously a wide range of emotions mm-hmm. To take place. And students may not know where to go. They may not feel safe. they may be looking for a voice
Sure.
to be able to help them.
Yeah.
How does the Multicultural Center work to be able to provide students the safe space they need to be able to deal with some of the national issues that are going on in the culture?
Yeah. So a big thing of that is educating our students on how to respond in those situations. Even though I wasn't, a part of the Multicultural Center in the past when we had those type situations come up, there have been students that come and reach out to me and just say, how do you respond to this? How can we advocate or just approach this situation? Because we're minority males as well, and this could have definitely been us in those situations if we were at the wrong place at the wrong time, or just had the bad luck in those situations. And so I've always been one, let's sit down, let's talk about it. What are your feelings? How do you feel about this? How do you think we can educate our community here at A-State so that we can avoid things like that happening here at A-State or in the Jonesboro community? How can we advocate for change in different law enforcement, different things like that? And so I'm big on, having those open, hard conversations with our students and having them to, critically think about what could be done to make change at our campus. I'm big on those type of conversations. And so I'm always constantly providing that space in the MC, whether it's a one-on-one conversation with the door closed in my office with students, or if we have, a forum where we need to have the conversation and see what can we do to, lessen those type things from happening in the future. And so my goal for the MC is that we can have diversity conversations before issues happen. I know in the spring we had an issue with Yik Yak, and some of our IFC groups and NPC groups not understanding why NPHC groups stroll and are loud and chant and do different things like that in the student union on like Hump Day Wednesdays. And so I'm big on, having a dialogue about the history of those strolls, the history of our chants, and why we do the things that we do in our Greek affiliations. And so I've had conversations throughout the interview process with the directors in the Leadership Center. So let's have conversations, events before things happen, so that we can educate our campus on why we do certain things. And I think once we educate our community on why we do certain things, they will respect them more so, and not, make jokes about why are the monkeys doing different things like that. It's a historical significance to everything that we do. And I just want, our community and the A-State family to, respect and just learn from those historical conversations.
Exactly. You mentioned education being one of the goals that you have. I wanted to find out about some of the other goals that you may have for the Multicultural Center as you're the director now.
Yeah. So I have been kind of big on a opportunity to unite our community groups. We have a lot of, minority-focused student groups on campus, and not all of them are under the umbrella of the Multicultural Center. And so with me being a part of the Black faculty staff groups, we started with creating a calendar so that our advisors of all of our minority student groups will put different events month by month on this calendar so that they can be shared among all of our Black faculty staff members across campus, and everyone knows what's going on. That will help with our student groups not overlapping with creating events at the same time, at the same day, because with us having a small population of students here, a lot of our students like to go to all of the events, but when we create like events at the same time on the same day, then it creates a challenge for our students. And so that's one thing that I've already worked with our Black faculty staff group to implement for the campus. Other things is just unifying collaborations of events. We have limited resources in different offices, and so if we can host like a big event for all of our students together, that's going to help us out in the long run. One thing we have coming up is our NPHC community is having a unified tailgate for the homecoming football game. And so I've kind of taken the lead of kind of planning that, orchestrating that for our NPHC community because it'll be open to any student that wants to attend it, but it will be focused strictly with our NPHC groups. All the alumni will come out, as well as all the student groups will come out, but it'll be, plenty of food, fun, and everything for our full community, and that'll be for the homecoming game.
That's fantastic. That's coming up October 1st.
October 1st.
So we're here pretty quick.
Yes. It's a week away, a little bit over a week away.
That's fantastic.
And so we're working on, our students will be a part of the actual homecoming events. I think they've been talking about doing the lip sync thing that's on Monday. Some of them are, working together to be into that event. But then also we'll have some small scale fun events in the MC just to get the excitement up for homecoming, but have like some minor organized events for our students there in the MC next week.
Right. As we wrap up, one of the things I know that you had talked about was the way that you were impacted. You want to be able to turn that around, pay it forward, and be able to impact other students. Kind of expound on that. We got about a minute and a half.
Yeah. So like I said, I had great experiences as a student here, being a part of the Brother to Brother group as a freshman, but also working my way up to being SGA president here at the university. It was those conversations that I had with mentors of Brother to Brother like Dr. Lonnie Williams and Dr. Glenn Jones, who created Brother to Brother many years ago, that helped me stay here. Even when I struggled academically, they called me in their office and said, Adrian, do you want to graduate from university, or do you want to, go back to McGee, Arkansas and be known as a great student leader only? And so I definitely needed to graduate with a degree, and those conversations have stayed with me for life. And so I'm just looking forward to being able to pay it back, have those hard conversations with students when they may struggle, but also celebrate their accomplishments throughout the years. And so being able to work under Dr. Lonnie Williams' leadership now as a director is really a good feeling as well, because I always tell him I'm super appreciative for that conversation he had with me many years ago as an undergrad student here. That I will continue to, pour back into students over the years and have those good conversations and those hard conversations with them.
Yeah, he's a great leader for sure.
Yes, most definitely. And so I'm just happy to be in this role. Like I said, I've been in multiple different roles here at the university, but when the opportunity presented itself, I was super excited to make full circle. I was a graduate assistant there years ago in my grad experience, and so now I get to lead the initiatives and lead the center and just create more programming and opportunities for the Multicultural Center.
Adrian, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you. And
Thank you.
that'll do it for this edition of A-State Connections. I want to thank our guest, Adrian Everett, for being here today. And I also want to thank instructor of creative media production, Galen Perkins, and his students who are behind the scenes running the show today. Also, thanks to our engineers, Derek Herring and Clayton Holderfield, for their help. And I want to thank you for watching. And don't forget, A-State Connections is heard every Saturday morning at 11 on 91.9 FM, KASU, and streaming on the KASU mobile app. I'll see you right here next Wednesday at 1:30 for another edition of A-State Connections. So long, everyone.